we actually are live.
Okay. We are live,
I do have the chat room open, though. Okay. I do have the chat room open.
Okay.
I don't have the video open because otherwise I will be double distracted
live,
watching
though.
you on this and that one, and it's just going to be...
Got it.
It's going to be a no-go.
Yeah,
well, you're waiting. Well, we're here.
Yeah. You don't have to wait any longer. We're here now.
There's no more... There's no more waiting. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the pre-show of the Jules and Coffee Hour.
Square fan, how's it going, man? How you doing?
Welcome, welcome. All right, chat room, make yourselves known. Make yourselves present. We should probably tweet out that we're doing this thing, hey?
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Everyone that showed up, announce yourself so I can give you a cookie.
Workhorse is here!
No
Hi,
way!
Hey, homie.
The Workhorse? Oh my gosh.
Like the famous, 100%
Woo!
famous Workhorse.
The HHE one, no less. Man, that was good.
You're gonna hear me typing for a second here.
Yeah, tweet it out. Let them know.
I am.
It's gonna go down.
Coffee Club _TV for the pilot episode of the and Coffee Hour.
What a day. What a day. Oh my gosh, is that Jules in the famous Goldshire Inn? Whew! Morin didn't waste any time. She knew exactly where we're doing the episode from today. Wow.
It's one of my favorite places, and it's not because of what you think it is. People, dirty minds. It is not about that. It's just about the memories of being a noob. Not because it's Goldshire, because that was scary, especially on Mood Guard. Sure it is, Jules. Sure it is. My night elf druid was a very, very innocent girl. Very innocent. Her name was Julana. That's how I got my name. That's how it's Julana. That was her name. Little known fact. Little known fact. I don't even know if Coffee knows this. Did I tell you this?
I don't think so.
That Jules Scott is not my real name.
No.
You don't know this. Yeah, that's not my legal name.
Is this your stage name?
It is my stage name. Yes. So, the origin of Jules Scott is, well, my character name. My very first podcast, I started with the character Julana, and everybody called me Jules. That was my nickname on my raid team, and my very first podcast was talking about raiders and guild leaders, and so it was me, Jules, and my partner Rem, and so then I started doing more podcasting, and I'm like, I need a last name. So that's literally what happened, and I used my mentor from my old job. Her name was Mary Scott, and that's what I used as my last name. So yeah,
I like
very few people know what my legal name is. Workhorse knows what it is. Okay. And and Coffee will know what it is after the show.
You could tell me, right? But then
then I'd have to mute you.
You'd have to kill me. Then you'd have to kill me.
No, I don't murder. I'm not a murderer.
Okay.
I mean, we're good.
All right.
Okay. Oh, Amorin, you just blew my mind, girl. Like, your real name is not Amorin?
What?
W2F?
I actually know her name. I know
her name.
I think I found out her
Jules
name
emote?
Recently.
Workhorse. Number one thing we have to do when we partner HeroesHearth Entertainment, Twitch, is we'll need emotes for us. We'll need to be a Jules and Coffee emote.
Boom.
I mean,
it's gotta happen.
It does.
Shakers, what's going on, dude? How are you? Welcome. Thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it.
Really excited to see you guys here. I'm stoked. A little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little nervous about this. I was telling Workhorse and Kai Berries earlier. I'm like, I'm always just this nervous energy before we actually do a new project.
100%.
And Coffee was like, me too.
I'm the exact same way. I get all antsy and jittery, and then it's actually time to do it, and I just get so sucked up and obsessed with it that all that like nervous energy just goes out the window, and I just get pumped up for what we're doing. But like beforehand, like it's just I'm shaking with nerves. So
hey, chat room, who here has been to a live podcast recording in Twitch before? Who has seen one of these done before? Raise your hand or give us an emote or something. Drink a beer, and then you'll be okay. Now the drinking of the beer probably happens after this is over. and coffee's like my first podcast recording. Well, Coffee, let me explain to you how this is working, okay?
Yeah.
We're in our pre-show side right now. This is pre-show. So this is the opportunity for the chat room.
I gotta tell you, if this is pre-show, I'm excited for the show because this is looking pretty damn good.
I know it. Look, tell us what you think of the background, you guys. What do you think about all this? Coffee did this an amazing background. I'm in freaking Goldshire Tavern right now.
Technically, I didn't do anything. I just invited you into the Goldshire Inn, right? We walked to Goldshire, right?
We rode to Goldshire.
We rode.
We did.
we walked down the hill from Stormwind. That's all I did.
That story of my first WoW moment where I freaked out completely because my human was the first character that I played.
I feel like most people have the human character as first character.
Yeah. Like you play your first. It was a priest.
Okay.
And I wound up running to Stormwind because the quest sends you there. And I got to the big bridge and I looked at it and I said, nope. And I ran back because I was so scared. I didn't know how to control myself. I didn't know what I was doing because it was my first real like MMO situation.
The emotions of seeing the Stormwind like moat and the bridge, I get it.
That sound, that choir that comes through.
Right?
That.
Too much.
Right
I get it.
Right there. You almost quit at level 10 because you kept drowning in the Stormwind Canal.
Oof. It'll get you.
I love it.
It'll get you. And
okay, so why are we here, right? We're going to do it. We're going to start the show pretty soon, but the goal of this podcast is to tell your stories and to tell our stories. So we're gonna get into that. If you guys are inspired during the recording of this episode, please just write your stories in the chat room, and we may bring them into the conversation. It just may be how it goes.
I would 110% love it if you guys have any incredible. You know what? It doesn't have to be incredible. Don't put a label on it. Any BlizzCon story at all that made you feel anything. Throw it in the chat room. It doesn't necessarily mean that you had to attend BlizzCon. Just if you were watching at home, or maybe you were going through something in your personal life, but it was during BlizzCon and one announcement, or maybe it was an esport, or maybe it was cosplay. I don't know. If something made you feel anything that affected you in your personal life at home, let us know what that was. I want to know. I really do.
I'm going to put this on my other monitor just in case. I'm going to mute this though.
Put your ASMR for real. There's not going to be any ASMR. It's not going to happen.
I mean, the intro, I gotta say, is there's the like ASMR vibes in the intro. I gotta say that music did have a little bit of ASMR.
I felt that a little bit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So just be aware that there is a little bit of that moment going on. Just so you know. Because I listened to it and I'm like, I was pretty close into the microphone when I recorded it, and I was like, oh yeah, okay.
But it's correct.
Let's see if the tank. Yeah. It's not like.
It's absolutely correct. It's not like, wait, what's happening? It's like, yes.
ASMR makes me nervous. It actually physically affects me by making me jittery. I get super uncomfortable and I can't deal.
That's crazy because it's supposed to have the opposite effect. It's supposed to make you...
Not for me.
Okay.
Not for me. I'm broken. We'll learn about this during our journey here. I'm a unique individual. You guys will get to know that a little bit more. Does Jules scare easily? What do you think? Okay, guess. Just guess. Do I scare easily or not? What would you guys say? I want your votes.
I'm gonna say yeah. Yeah.
I can't watch zombie movies because that could actually happen. Look at your face. I'm serious. It could happen someday. I can't watch it. It's too real.
Okay. All right. It's too close to home. I get it.
I can't do it. I swear to God, if there was an opportunity at some point for us to raise charity, and you needed me to like play a scary game to raise charity, I'd raise like $1 million because you guys would I would scream so much that you would just be. I'm so bad. I get so scared because I'm a big baby when it comes to scary stuff.
I hear you. I can't play scary games. Like I bought that Outlast game to play, and I got like not even 10 minutes into it, and I was done. It just and I had nightmares that night. So
yes,
yeah.
I will like. So I tried to watch The Walking Dead. I tried to watch Zombieland. Zombieland's not that bad, but it was still too much for me. But The Walking Dead, I was like, this could really happen, you guys. I just can't do it.
8-Bit Dame says, me too. You're the same way, 8-Bit. Comic Club TV, you know what's coming? No, Fluffy, we're in podcast mode. You could try to redeem things, but I don't think it'll show up.
Yeah, you won't get it, I don't think. Unless
try horror VR, says Shakers. I think I would rather eat my own foot.
Well, that's a zombie thing. See, I can't do that either.
How long have you been streaming, says Lemmy? Lemmy, we're just getting started. This is podcast day.
We're warming you up for a little bit of a podcast.
Yeah.
How you feeling? Are you feeling loose? You feeling like we could be ready to roll this thing?
I feel pretty loose. Right before we got started, I did about like 60 minutes of stretching, like hard stretching. Nice. Yeah. So nice. I'm feeling very loose. Okay. I didn't do that.
I did 50 kettlebell swings earlier.
I wish I did that.
I did my kettlebell swings. Thank you, Heroes of Fitness. I love you guys.
Thank you, Heroes of Fitness. Amen.
They are the loveliest individuals you will ever meet.
My gosh.
You must meet them at BlizzCon if you have not met them before.
Nicole and Tim are perfection. Perfection.
They are wonderful. Wonderful human beings. All right. So if we are ready, then we will do the thing. We'll do a little countdown. We'll flip the scene, and we'll do the thing.
Yeah.
And then you guys are you're our pilot program. You like something here? Tell us. If you don't, we want to know. And then we're going to take what your feedback comes to us, and we're going to shape it, and we're going to make this an actual show. This is just our tester. So anything can change. Anything can be adjusted. It's all up in the air.
Yep.
You guys are awesome.
You guys are incredible, and it seems like people are starting to trickle in. And guys, today we're not playing video games. We're trying something new. We're trying a pilot episode of a podcast. Jules is going to be leading us through this. It's going to be me and Jules. We're going to be discussing our favorite BlizzCon moments, how that made us feel, and we're looking for chat interaction from you guys. We want to hear from you guys. We want to know what made you feel anything related to BlizzCon. So let us know as we go through. But I think we're going to get started here.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, the screen is going to dark. And 3, 2, 1. You're listening to the Jules and Coffee Hour, sharing the stories of Blizzard gamers around the world. Okay, that doesn't work because I can't hear it. We're glad you're here. Okay. That doesn't work so well because I can't hear the music and don't know where it's coming in.
Oh, okay.
So let's try this. Okay. Let's redo that.
Sure.
Because I can't hear it. I don't know where the entry point is. So let's see. We didn't try this beforehand, but we will try this now. And see what it sounds like on my end. So this is not the actual intro, but we will try this. You're listening to the Jules and Coffee Hour, sharing the stories of Blizzard gamers around the world. Pull up a chair. We're glad you're here. Okay, so that you hear that, chat room?
That was smooth.
How did that sound coming from me?
That was smooth.
Okay. There was no distortion, no weirdness or anything like that? Because that'll be a problem if you guys hear weird stuff. Oh god, Shaker's chair broke.
Why? Because it was just the best.
It sounds good. All right, then we're gonna roll that and see if it goes. Because then I know when to come in. I can't figure it out. So. Okay. All right, let's do this take 2.
Sure. Let's do it.
All right.
And a 3, a 2, a 1. Hit it, maestro.
You're listening to the Jules and Coffee Hour, sharing the stories of Blizzard gamers around the world. Pull up a chair. We're glad you're here. Welcome to the first episode of the Jules and Coffee Hour. I'm Jules.
And I'm Coffee, and here's your daily dose of caffeine.
Oh my goodness. I had my caffeine earlier, and I don't know if I can handle it again, but you know what? I'm going to do it because this is how we do it around here.
You should do it. I mean, there's a lot of people I can see in the chat that are under-caffeinated right now.
Well, this is our first podcast together, and we've already had a little bit of technical snafu-ish, and we're loving it. It's awesome. We're so glad to do this and learn on the fly, having this wonderful chat room with us today on the Coffee Club, and that's what we're doing. We're here with the Coffee Club as this pilot.
You're fired!
And here's why we're here. Let's talk a little bit about why we're here. The goal of a show, and Coffee and I can talk about this a little bit, we sat down together after I interviewed Coffee. Did I lose your head? What happened?
No, I totally forgot to remove the host notifications and stuff like that.
Did he play host notifications?
Just crushed us. Just my soul. Barb's out there getting fired all over again. My goodness. Oof, killed me.
This is why it's a pilot, you guys.
This is the pilot, but you know what? There's so much going right now that things like that don't matter so much. They really don't.
I don't have the audio on for the for the
you
stream,
are lucky,
so I can't hear.
Lucky woman. That's all I'll say.
Could you saying Barb, you're fired is what I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Fom said the bugs are featured. I agree with that 100%. Yeah. And I will.
We're in beta.
We're here. Okay, all right. Well, then let's try this again. Take 2 of why we're here, because you know what? It's just fun. It's just fun. Like, I met Coffee about 7 weeks ago. No.
Has it been that long?
I think it's been 7 weeks. I'm not sure.
Wow.
But I interviewed you for Heroes News and for the podcast that I do with HeroesHearth Entertainment. And we had the best time ever. We had the best time ever. I had seen Coffee streaming, and he was out there doing the thing, and fun as hell, and I'm like, I want to talk to that guy, and I sent him an email, and he responded almost immediately and was like, yes.
As you should. If someone ever gives you an opportunity, any opportunity whatsoever, you should respond immediately.
Well, okay. Yeah. I'm not going to say anything more than that, because it doesn't always happen that way, and people are busy, and I get it. But sometimes scheduling people is a pain in the butt.
I hear that.
Just be aware of that.
I get that.
Scheduling people is a pain in the butt. So anyway, we had this wonderful podcast interview, blast of a time. And then we wound up chatting afterwards and just being like, yeah, we have a lot in common, man. We're just kind of kindred spirits. It's this really cool relationship, friendship that's building out of the blue. And then this is a hashtag blame Workhorse that we are doing this podcast because Workhorse said we needed to do something together.
I blame Workhorse, but I also blame Peng. I see Peng in the chat right there.
You always blame Peng. I blame Peng too.
Yeah.
Peng and I haven't quite met yet, but we will.
Well, you can blame him for the things. But yeah, I mean, the podcast, I just sort of began to realize that, you know, I love streaming and I love creating content, but then to have a connection or kind of realize that I share a lot of the same passions and creative energies that you do, that got me even more excited to begin something like this or some kind of, you know, creative endeavor like this. And then sometimes all you need is that little push, that little nudge. And I feel like Workhorse that's one of his talents. Do you feel like that too?
Oh, he will actually admit that is one of his talents, which is a very for Workhorse, who is one of the most humble human beings in the world, he knows that that's one of his gifts, and I 100% agree with him on that. He knows he can recognize people's talents and the fact that they can work together.
Yeah.
And yeah, honestly, I'm gonna get mushy for a second, but it really is an honor to work with someone like him, because it is such an inspiration. And then he brings all these awesome people into the fold, and you're like, I love that person, I love that person, I love that person. And Coffee, I love that person. Right there. He's awesome.
I love that person, Jules. And she's right there. She's literally right there, sitting next to me at the Goldshire Inn. My God.
I'm pointing the wrong way. This way, because I'm flipped. So it's flipped, man. The camera's flipped. So here's the reason why we're here, what we're planning to do, and why we are going to need your help as a community, because this is really about you. The goal of this show is you, our Heroes Hearth community, because we are all Blizzard gamers. We love the same things, and we come from all walks of life, but we have one amazing thing in common, and that is that we care about this community, these games, this world of wonder. And we thought that one of our gifts is to tell stories, to connect with people, to make them feel positive and happy, to strengthen our connections and spread positivity and fun. And that is something that we really felt inspired by. We felt like we could do this very easily as a team. And so for me, I've been doing that for quite a while under different podcasts and different banners. And for Coffee, this is like the entry. Like, you see his eyes right now. You see there's no headband. There's no persona. This is the man here. That beautiful man sitting there. He's going to show you all of the soft underbelly of Coffee. It's going to be great.
There you go. And while Jules has been at this for a while, I'm relatively new to this. I mean, this is my 9th month creating content, and primarily through Twitch streams. I've worked in the entertainment industry before, like telling stories, so that's my passion. But in terms of creating content for a game or this industry, it's a little different. So I'm just kind of learning as I go, and it's just all very exciting. So to get this kind of an opportunity now at this stage in my career, it's just kind of mind-blowing, and it's extremely humbling to work with you, Jules. It really is.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, I mean, let's dig in a little bit further on that, like where your background is, how you got started in performance. Let's talk a little bit so people can get to know you as a performer and as a content creator.
Sure. Yeah. We could go really far back. We could go real back.
Go for it.
Okay. I was an athlete when I was younger, through grade school into high school, and I ended up injuring my knee in high school, so much so that I couldn't play football, and it was like a devastating thing to me, because that was like just part of like my personality. I don't know if you guys know what I mean by that, but when you're younger, smaller things feel so big somehow. So so I was devastated by that, and I think it was my mom or it might have been my grandmother that pushed me towards performance and storytelling. So I took a drama 1 class in high school. I think it was my junior year, and I just got hooked. I just went nuts. I mean, the fact that you could pretend and you could be another person, and that you, in doing that, could invoke some sort of emotion in another human, whether it be a bad emotion or laughter or silliness, or maybe make them cry, maybe make them feel emotional. I mean, anything. That just kind of blew my mind, and I was like, this is such a powerful thing. So I got the bug, and I did plays, and I went to college for acting and performance. I earned a BFA. Started doing acting up and down the East Coast. Moved to the West Coast. Started
East
doing.
Coast. What side of East Coast?
I started in DC. Moved to New York. Did acting in New York.
Wow.
Moved to LA. Did acting on the West Coast. Earned my SAG-AFTRA card. And I've been working in television, film, and commercials ever since. And throughout that whole time, as I was doing all of that, I was playing video games, like we all do while we're pursuing any type of career. We're playing video games. Played a lot of World of Warcraft. Played. I think the first MMO I ever played was Star Wars Galaxies. I don't know if any of you guys know that.
Oh gosh, yes, I do.
Ahead of its time, sandbox MMO, player-made cities. Oof! Don't get me started on that game, but.
My first one was City of Heroes. Did you ever play that one?
I played a little bit of that.
Okay.
Was that also Sony Online?
That was NCSoft. That was
NCSoft? Okay. All right.
Yeah. That was my first one.
So you understand what I'm talking about. You get it.
Oh, for sure.
You develop a love, a passion, and from there, moved over to World of Warcraft and just never looked back. I was addicted to Blizzard ever since. So, this year, the beginning of the year, my wife was out of town for family stuff, and I realized that I wanted to do more with games because while I love performance and acting and things like that, I realized there's got to be a way to tie those two things together somehow. There's got to be a way. And I was inspired by a lot of the content creators that already exist, and it just made me realize that I think this is a deep passion of mine that I've kind of hadn't been exploring until that moment. So here we are, 9 months later. We've been streaming to this channel. We've been trying to do things a little bit differently, trying to do things a little more casual, a little more fun, a little more silly, and I have never been happier. It's just blowing my mind how generous and supportive this community is. Most of that community in chat right now, you guys are amazing. But here we are.
It has been such a journey for you, and so we kind of sit at different ends of the spectrum, and yet very similar. Because my journey started 6 years ago, but the last 5 months or so have been world changing. I've been doing this work for 6 years plus, but the changes that have happened in the last 5 months could be equivalent to a 6-year journey. It's that different. So I often feel like that similar kind of like that awe of like, wow, I don't even realize where I am right now.
Yeah.
When you have those moments.
Yeah, totally. Oh yeah.
And when you have that moment where you're just like, wow, this is insane where I am today versus where I was. And my love for broadcasting started when I was a kid. I had a tape recorder, like the little cassette tape recorder things, and I would record interviews with my sister. And we would like do interviews with my stuffed animals, like make up voices and things like that. And I wanted to be on the radio so bad, so bad. And then I realized kind of the reality is, number one, you'd have to go to broadcast school, and number two, the job sucks and it doesn't pay you anything. Right? So
you're right.
I let that dream go for years. I mean, I was this close to going to broadcast school when I was in my early 20s, and I didn't do it because it was way too expensive. And so I went in and I did the corporate thing, and I worked all of these different jobs, and I worked for a startup company. And it was like, there was this moment where myself and my friend who I was raiding with, he had just gotten an iPhone. First time he'd gotten an iPhone, and I'd had mine for probably 4 years.
Oh, you're fancy.
And he's like, yeah, I was all fancy and stuff because I used to work in sales, and so therefore I had to have like the nicest phone, right?
Got it.
So he said to me, he's like, I need to listen to podcasts. I don't understand what podcasts are. So I had been listening to WoW podcasts like The Instance and There was a podcast called Tavern Cast where they would sit in a tavern and have like this background music of like beer glasses clinking and people talking, and they would talk about hardcore raiding, and I didn't know what that was, but I'd listen anyway. And my friend listened, came back to me and said, I want to make a podcast. And I will remember this to this day. My response to his text message was, I'm in. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I'm in.
Boom.
Boom. It was that moment of like, boom, let's do this.
Yeah.
So we learned, we figured it out. We came up with an idea. I sat on my bed with my laptop with a headset microphone, and it was horrible sounding. And we recorded this long ass episode. And it was dumb and horrible. And to this day, if you go back and you listen to episode 1, it is the most awful thing. But people started to love it. Like, they heard it, and then I was just hooked. I was in.
All right, we got to go back and watch this now.
Oh, Jesus.
We got to find it.
And it's not on Twitch. It's only on I think it's on the website still. And it's on iTunes, I believe. So bad. And that episode, or that podcast is called Torrent Think Tank, and it is still running till this day. We episode 290 recorded last night, so 290 shows. My very first podcast.
You're almost to 300 episodes.
I am.
That is just mind blowing. Incredible.
Yeah, that's a milestone that most podcasters never make it to. Like, most podcasts will go 5-6 episodes, and then you realize how much work it is to make shows, and then you're like, screw this noise, I'm out.
Well, that's the thing. It's like we all are excited to be creative and make awesome content, and then all of a sudden we realize how much work we're doing, and it's just like, where did my life go? And then you got to be like, is this what I really want to do? And sometimes people say no, and that's what separates the really, I guess, great content creators from the ones that are just trying it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that you find too is it stokes a passion in you that you can't, like, that's the one thing. Like, if you guys will meet Coffee, he is the kind of creator that once you've stoked an idea in his head, he can't let it go until it is complete. and that is not a bad thing. It's just it's a personality trait of a lot of content creators. Like, you can't let this idea go. And
so true.
Yeah, and that was something that over time, like, I had lost that. I had lost that fire because I've been doing this for quite a long time. And so let's fast forward to the last, 5 months ago. I had kind of reached this point where I was like at the peak. I was employed full time doing podcasting and content creation, but I lost my contract. It was just gone. And the thing that I had dreamed about, the thing I had wanted to do for so long, is now gone, and I don't have a plan B. I don't have a moment where I can say, well, I've always wanted to do this, so therefore I'm going to do this. And it was hard. It was devastatingly hard, and kind of took me down to the level of saying, well, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do to pick myself back up again? And Heroes News was the moment that turned everything around. It was a series of other things, but Heroes News was that podcast where I had always dreamed about making, and I was too afraid to do it. I was too afraid to make that content. And now I had nothing to stop me. I was free as a bird. I had nothing else to hold me back except myself, and I did it. And I approached Workhorse, and I said, we're going to do this. And since that moment, my life is as different as it could be. And I haven't been happier in a long time. I haven't been this happy in a long time. So it's a pretty incredible ride. The ride has taken me to this moment where we are now sitting across this lovely table in Goldshire together with you, our community.
I was going to say, 6 years ago, did you see your future bringing you to the Goldshire Inn, at the table next to this massive hearth back here? Did you imagine that back then?
I mean, I spent a lot of time running in and out of this inn. It's like, because I was too busy to, like, quest givers and stuff. They're telling me to go do something, and I'm like, you're gonna try to make me go cooking again? I don't want don't want to cook. I don't
I
like
don't
cooking.
want to collect candles. And
No, I don't. I really don't. But sitting across the table and actually having a moment at the table, huh? Never, never, never. It's amazing how things happen that way.
there you go.
So then it brings us to this moment in time where we're here to tell stories. And I think it's time for us to tell some stories, don't you think?
I love it. I like that idea.
Right. So for this pilot episode of the Jules and Coffee Hour, we are 2 weeks away from BlizzCon. As of today,
What?
it is 2 weeks away.
2 weeks?
Shut up. Shut up. He's losing his mind on here, you know.
God.
He's losing his mind.
Where does time go, man? Where does time go?
Really fast.
Oh.
So we will warn you ahead of time that this show is a cry welcome zone, because we've already talked about the things that we're going to probably discuss that could, you know, trigger some good emotions and some happy emotions and maybe some sad ones. So get ready, you guys. Get your tissues ready, because there could be some moments where you kind of go, oh my God, my heart. And we're going to talk about our favorite BlizzCon memories, the things that have really moved us. Because I've been to BlizzCon. This will be my 6th BlizzCon. How many has it been for you?
This is my 4th one.
4th one. Okay.
Yes. So.
And it's been pretty special moments for both of us that we've had.
We've had some special, kind of just like eye-opening moments where you kind of do a little self-reflection and, you know, feel like, okay, I am part of the universe right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So let's have you kick it off with your favorite BlizzCon memory of all time.
Okay. So I think I'm going to tell. So by the way, this is just one memory, and I think a lot of you guys will find, anyone that's been to BlizzCon or anyone that plans on attending BlizzCon, there's just you go there and you have no expectations of what it's going to be, what you're going to feel, and things just happen there that make you feel part of something bigger. And I think probably BlizzCon is, just attending BlizzCon is one of the reasons I want to make content so bad for, you know, video games, specifically Blizzard, is because there's something really special about that community and the people that go there and attend BlizzCon. Because when you're playing online games, as a lot of people find, there's a sense of there's negativity online. I think that's just that's common with the internet, you know, like that's just people feel that they can't be held accountable for things. So I think you can, you know, be negative on the internet, but the people that drop everything in their lives and actually attend these events like this, like BlizzCon, these are the true fans, the most passionate, the diehard people. And these are the people that I want in my life. These are the people that are positive, they're passionate, they want to create things like you, and they want a sense of community. And if you feel like you belong in that community, then BlizzCon is 110% you. But this specific memory comes from BlizzCon 2016. So it was my second BlizzCon. It was so I actually put this in the Discord recently, but the one thing I didn't mention in the Discord is that my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law were visiting from the East Coast, and they were staying with us here in LA, and they were here to get married. So this is my wife's Emma's sister Audrey and her husband Robert. They came here to get married at the top of Runyon Canyon. So anyone that lives in LA knows that Runyon Canyon is this very famous hiking trail, and it's very beautiful, very pretty sights. And they wanted me to marry them. What?
Oh.
That's what I said. What? Hello? Why? What? But it was incredibly touching, and it just kind of opened my eyes in terms of like, these are people that I don't see every day, and they live across the country, and they have this connection to me and this love for me that they want me to do their ceremony and be a part of their life, that special moment. So naturally, I went online and got myself ordained like that day. I was like, my gosh, I need to get this done. I need to make sure this is official. I want to do this. So that's what I did. And they came out, I think it was a couple days before BlizzCon, and I married them at the top of Runyon Canyon.
Oh,
so it was very beautiful. It was just me and my wife and them. I mean, that was literally it. It was just like this little intimate ceremony right at the top of Runyon Canyon, and I married them. So if anyone needs a wedding done, I'm just letting you know that I'm still licensed. I can still take care of that for you. Just hit me up in the DMs, okay? Moving on.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love it. That is actually one of the things in my life that I have not done yet, but I would love to do, is to marry somebody in like the community or something that may be connected because of my involvement or something like that.
That's
incredible. A dream.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's such a it's just, I'm trying to describe, there's the words are hard to describe how it feels, but it's such an intimate moment that it almost feels weird being a part of it, but you're critical in creating it, so it feels like magic, you know? It's very hard to describe, but
yeah. Well, it is a pivotal moment in someone's life.
Exactly.
Talk about the things that happen in someone's life. It's like, you know, graduations and marriage and you buy your house or whatever it is. Like, that is a pivotal moment in someone's life.
Absolutely.
To be a part of that is incredible, and it's honoring. It
is, and I felt very honored and like humbled that they would ask me to do that, and it still didn't feel right up until the very moment where it was happening, and I realized that this is a memory that they want to hold close to their heart, you know, for a long period of time, and just the fact that they want me to be a part of that memory is something so special, and I wanted to do it justice. I wanted to make it the best possible, you know, moment it could be for them. So, and they were there, and they came to BlizzCon that weekend, so everything was kind of tied into that. That's right. Yeah. So part of the thing was the gift that I gave to them was I wanted to give Robert, my new brother-in-law, the gift of BlizzCon, because I'd gone the previous year and I knew how special this was. He loves Blizzard games as well. I think he's mostly an Overwatch fan, but I wanted to give him that gift because BlizzCon's one of the most special times of the year for me. I mean, it's just, speaking of magic, BlizzCon is magic, and I thought, you know, this is his first step into another world. You know, this is a big time in his life, and what if we just round it all out with BlizzCon? So that's what we did, and we went to BlizzCon and just had this incredible time. I mean, I don't think he'd even been to many conventions or gaming conventions at all. So this was just the first time seeing, you know, all of this kind of energy. I mean, BlizzCon is crazy. I mean, it's busy, it's hectic, it's bright. Well, it's dark, but it's also bright because there's TVs and monitors everywhere in your face and tons of people. And he was just kind of like amazed by the whole thing. And we watched some of the Overwatch stuff, and then we checked out some booths. He tried VR for the first time. Oh, wow. Yeah, the VR thing was very cool. It was like take a tour of the Blizzard campus with an Oculus Rift on your head. I mean, it was nuts. It was very cool. Yeah. And then I took him, naturally, as one should do. You take your brother-in-law over to the Heroes of the Storm area where they're doing the pro games. And he had heard of Heroes, but he, you know, hadn't played it. So there was a lot of teaching him the game and how it works, and you know, how it's an action game, but it's also a mind game, and that's something that he was excited about. And so we're sitting down kind of watching, and I'm explaining the heroes to him and the maps, and you know, he's kind of, you know, his eyes are like this the whole time. Just huge saucer eyes. You know, it's just, so we're sitting like third row, And this place is packed because this game is new at the time. It's people are, I mean, just really excited about it. You know, some people came for World of Warcraft and just wandered over to the Heroes area, and it's packed. So we're sitting in the third row, and I'm kind of near the end of the aisle, near the walkway, and we're in between games. They're changing out, and all of a sudden, Grubby and J-House sit next to us, right next to us, in the two seats to our right. And Robert had no idea who they were, but I was like, "Oh, Robert, this is J-House and Grubby. They just casted that game you just watched." And he was like, "No way, that's so cool." So we introduced ourselves to Grubby and J-House, and they were very nice and very polite, and that's one of the best parts about these events is you get to meet these people that you see only on screens, and they fulfill every expectation you had of them because they're passionate about the same things that you are, and they're both incredible people. But Grubby has this huge following from Starcraft 2, and Starcraft is huge at BlizzCon. That year, Starcraft had this whole arena that was just packed, and it was just nuts. So Grubby is sitting on the end, and people kept walking up to Grubby. There was like by the time the game started, there was this line forming all the way down the aisle of people wanting to like say hi to Grubby and like take selfies with him and just kind of like, you know, say hello and get to know him a little bit. And you know, it's like it seemed to like be a little awkward for J-How, right? Because he's just kind of sitting there by himself, looking great, by the way. Man, he's wearing a sweet suit and looking handsome as hell, but he's just kind of sitting there, you know, not really knowing what to do because he lost his buddy, he lost his duo partner. So Robert and I just chatted with him, and he seemed excited to talk to us about the games, and he helped me. Josh helped me how to he helped me explain how exciting Heroes of the Storm is. So it was just me, Robert, and J-How chatting about Heroes and sharing this passion of games and just feeling this energy in this three-way little circle. We're right in front of the teams, like playing on stage, and he's teaching Robert about the maps and rotations and team comps, and Robert's just losing his mind with excitement and appreciation over not just the game but the production and just esports as a whole, and how esports is essentially just, you know, at this point, as we move more and more into the future, it's a sport. And it started to blow his mind, and just Robert, by the end of this game, this match with J-How with us, he was just ready to go home, fire up Heroes of the Storm, and just get involved. Just get in the Nexus and start mixing it up, dominating. And that's what we did. We went right home after BlizzCon and just played Heroes of the Storm, and he had a really good time.
That's incredible. And what a memorable moment to be able to talk to one of the experts of the game there, to get a chance to really get a feel for the passion of it. That is such a cool story.
And that's kind of the magic of it is, you know, we're all from different walks of life and, you know, live in very different places. And, you know, Robert has not involved in gaming at all. You know, I think he works in marketing now, and he lives in Delaware. But having him there with me and J-How and us sharing that energy and getting excited over this video game together just made me realize that you know, video games are a universal language that bring people together from all different walks of life, and it's just kind of incredible to, you know, think about that sometimes, because something that was just fun to you growing up and you know, just kind of a distraction becomes so embedded in your life that it creates relationships and it brings people together. It's hard to talk about. It's an emotional thing, really.
It is, because I think a lot of us spent our childhoods being made fun of that for a long time, and maybe not feeling so proud of it. I had I had a block of time in my life where I didn't play video games because it was like the late teenager, early 20 years where it's like you're supposed to be more interested in boys and dating and things like that, and it's not cool as a girl to like video games.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is that I don't have some of those references that other people do. Like, I've never played a Final Fantasy game. I've, you know, and people gasp and clutch their pearls, right? And you're saying no, you didn't do it either. But some gamers are like, how did you never play Final Fantasy?
I know.
Or Pokemon?
I feel so bad.
And that's the problem, is it makes you feel bad, right? It makes you feel, but when it comes down to it, now we live in this world where it's this connection that brings us together and has now become careers for people. It's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible to think about that. And you know, my story for my favorite BlizzCon memory just lends so well to yours.
Okay.
Because
it's
about bringing people together.
I thought it might.
It is about bringing, yeah. So I will warn you, I cry every time I tell this story because it is very emotionally, it's just very strong. It's one of those things that I will never forget this moment in my entire life. So I mentioned earlier, if you haven't followed my work before, Torrent Think Tank is a show that is about people. We give advice to people in the community, and it can be about anything. It can be not necessarily about video games, but life in general. And the concept of the show is that people write letters in and ask for our advice, and we give it. And it started out being game related, and it didn't stay that way because we started getting letters about like, hey, I'm in this relationship and it's not going well and I need your advice, or I can't talk to my parents about this, or I want to come out to my mom, or I mean, it became something much bigger than what we ever intended it to be. And about it was about 7-8 months after I'd started the show, we got a letter from an individual, and he called himself Navarre, and his his full name that he used on his gamer tag was Navarre Impossible, and it looks like Never Impossible.
Okay.
But it was Navarre. And he told us about this awful story of his life, about how he was married and his wife had cheated on him and left him, and he didn't have a place to live, and he was just really, really in bad shape, but that listening to the show was something that got him through each week because it was positive and it was upbeat, and it gave him hope, and we were like blown away by this letter and this individual, and he just kept writing to us and letting us know about what was happening. And it wasn't always good. It was like, now I'm sleeping on my friend's couch and I don't have a job and I don't know what I'm going to do with my life, but thank you for Torrent Think Tank because it is the beacon of light in my life. And we just kept telling him on the show, like, keep us informed. You've got this. Sometimes life throws you really big curveballs, but you've got this, and the community's behind you. And people in the community would be like, hey, if you're in game, if you've got a chance to play the game, come, I'll friend you. They just went and did that, which was incredible. And the letters over time, they didn't come anymore. We didn't hear from him anymore. And so it was like, you know, you just move on. Everybody moves on. And it was BlizzCon 2015. I was walking through the 4th floor of the Hilton, heading towards Con Before the Storm to go in and see what was going on. And I heard my name. I heard someone calling Jules, and I turned, and this couple walks up to me, and the man approaches me, and he said, Jules, I'm Navarre, and this is my girlfriend, Steph. And I just was like, oh my God. And he had just this biggest grin on his face. He was so happy to see me. And he gave me a hug. And he whispered in my ear, you saved my life. This is where I cry. Because I've never had anybody tell me that. You know, it wasn't my intention to ever be doing a podcast where I changed someone's life or gave them a moment of clarity. but he held me and he told me that I changed, that I saved his life. And I said, no, it wasn't me. You did this. You did this. You saved your own life. And he said, if it wasn't for you and this show and this community, I don't know if I'd still be here. Like, talk about power. And
yeah,
and an amazing moment that just, like, I will never forget. Like I said, it's just that moment that gets ingrained in your head. Like, I can see it. I can see where I was, where I was facing. I could hear the words in my head. And I knew at that very moment that what I was doing was the right thing. I knew that I was doing something that was making a difference. And I will never forget that moment because I connected to people that, and he went and he found Steph. They now live in Minneapolis, where I live. We are friends. We go out to dinner together. We go Pokemon hunting together. It's like life takes you in places that you would never expect. And they've become very dear friends of mine. And I would have never had that happen if it was not for doing a podcast. I need to reach for a tissue. But it was one of those moments that changed me forever and turned me into a better person. I was just doing what I was doing, but I carry that in my backpack. Every time I go to BlizzCon, I carry that moment with me because you just never know how you can impact someone's life, how you can make a moment change their life. We go through every day. Like, we could just say hi to somebody and it could be that moment that changes their mood, or a smile that you give to someone makes them feel better.
Yeah.
So that is by far my most emotionally and amazing BlizzCon memory. Sorry, chat room, we made you cry, and I told you this is a cry zone. Coffee did pretty good. He didn't bawl.
I didn't bawl.
No.
You got me though.
I know. I mean, I it's hard to not, because this is. I'm sorry, you guys are all like, we can't play HOTS when your eyes are blurry. Said Midnight Society.
It's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
It's incredible to think about how something so small that we're doing every day is having such a large impact in others. And when you get a little taste of how what you're doing is having such a large impact for a number of people, it's addicting, and you just want to be super involved. You want to keep doing it. You want to do it. You want to give all of yourself to it, and try to be a part of everyone's life, I get that 100%. That's an incredible
and BlizzCon,
story.
So I think the difference that we run into as a streamer versus a podcaster, and now you will enter the world of podcasting, so you'll understand this a little bit better, but if you don't live stream your shows and you don't have a live chat room for what you do, your feedback is not immediate. You don't necessarily know, except for looking at a bunch of statistics, whether or not there are people that are actually listening to your content and reacting to it.
Right.
A live chat room like we have right here is wonderful because there's a bunch of people here who are expressing themselves as we speak. And sometimes as a podcaster, I wish I had that immediate moment of knowing that I've touched someone's heart, or I've made them feel better, or I've made them think. But I go to BlizzCon and that comes at me in like massive waves.
Right.
To the point where I don't necessarily have I'm not prepared for it. Like, I've been doing this for a long time now, but I'm still not prepared for it. Every year where I have people like yelling my name and running towards me, and I'm like, I'm just some chick that lives in Minneapolis. Like, people don't recognize me when I walk down the street.
Hey, I hear a lot of cool people live in Minneapolis.
They do, but I still don't have people like, going to the grocery store. Are you Jules Scott? I'd had that happen to me at a Ren fair in Wisconsin, though.
If I lived there, weird. I would run up to you and give you a hug and ask you if you're Jules Scott.
Well, you better do that at BlizzCon about 50 times.
Minimum. 50 times minimum. I will do that.
because there's this strange feeling of just not really connecting to your audience as much, and then you go to BlizzCon and you're like, all of you, because here's what they tell you in podcasting world. If you look at your download numbers and you say, I'm looking at 500 downloads. Okay, great. When you look at 500 downloads, you go, okay, that's 500 downloads. But then you think about 500 people sitting in a room together listening to you. That is freaking huge.
Yeah.
That is scary shit. And then you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes more sense to me. That makes me understand. And so,
yeah,
it's just a perspective thing. And so we come from little bit of different creator channels, but if you ever see me at BlizzCon looking a little overwhelmed, that's sometimes what happens to me.
To bounce that off, that story, that's one of the reasons I think this is so like my streaming right now has become such an embedded part of my life, is because a lot of the work I was doing in television and film, I would never see or never get to hear feedback about. Occasionally, I would shoot a project and I would see it on TV like a year later or something like that. I didn't know it was going to be on TV or anything like that, but it's like I wouldn't get any feedback, and then along comes Twitch, and suddenly it's more like theater, where you walk off stage at the end of the day and people are waiting for you to embrace you. Right, exactly. And
yes,
maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm so addicted to it. But it's exactly like you said. It's like you impacted 500 people's lives. That's what I tell to people all the time, is like, even if you have 2 or 3 people watching you stream that day, you're changing their day. That's a human being at the other end of that screen, and you're hopefully making one small aspect of his day better. Maybe you're helping him see something in a positive light. You're not changing the world, but maybe you're changing 2 or 3 people's outlook on life that day. Yeah.
I mean, as an entertainer and as a content creator, you give of yourself. You give what you have, and I'm guessing that at the end of every stream you kind of collapse in a heap because you leave it all on the table.
Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that is, and same thing for me after a live stream of a podcast. I will fall down and be like, I just need a break, because what you see on camera, what you see and hear in the podcast is me, but it's amplified. It's not how Coffee and I would sit down and have a conversation with each other. We would not talk like this specifically without it being a broadcast. There's a different energy that goes into it. And
we're still ourselves, but
yes.
we're on screen. We're on camera. So.
And John the Gamer in chat room was saying that you are so quiet. This is you. This is not necessarily the streamer. This is you. And it's a different side of you that people may not have seen and the same thing with me. If you're listening to Heroes News, you're not seeing the personality person behind Jules Scott. You're hearing me report the news, having a conversation with another person, but it's a cool way I think this is a cool way for us to connect with you guys in a different matter, to let you understand all of who we are and how we do things. And Trixler's thinking streamers aren't full of energy and hilarious all the time, lol. Jeez, Trixler, when I sat next to you at BlizzCon, buddy, you were just like, you were Trixler times 10. No, I'm not. You weren't. You were chill, and that was what was the super cool thing about.
Maybe that's part of the magic of BlizzCon. It's just sitting down and having an intimate conversation with somebody as a person, rather than a content creator.
And that's what I love about it. And so I think at BlizzCon, it goes without saying, but there are sometimes people who do get afraid to approach a content creator and give them a hug or a handshake and tell them that they enjoy their stuff. And I've had literally people. I have people who have like shoved another person in front of me and said, "She wants to be you, but she's too scared." This chick from Minnesota. I'm not threatening, and but to have someone be afraid, or I've had people who I've taken photos with that are actually shaking from nervousness and I'm like, this is not real life. This is so weird. And so I want to let people know, as we're doing these BlizzCon memories, that, and I think I speak for both of us, that you can approach us at any time. If we have something we have to go to, we'll tell you. I gotta go to do a work thing, but I'll be back here. I will always try to tell you where you can find me again. So
yeah, because ultimately that's what it's about. It's, sure, we're doing this on some level because we really enjoy it. It's something we're passionate about, content creation. But the other side of it is we hope that we're making a change in some way, or we're having an impact on people, because this is all about community. It's all about family. So if we get a chance at a convention, or maybe we're just out on the street or something, we get that opportunity to see you and meet you, interact with you in person, my God, that is a powerful thing. So please do not hesitate to come up to either one of us and give us a big hug and just chat with us, because that's at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. And it just means the world. It means the world to me, and I know it does to Jules too.
Absolutely. So as part of this podcast, what we will be doing in the future as we talk about the topic at hand is we will ask you for your own submissions that we will read on the show at the end of the broadcast. And so we did, as a pilot, use Coffee's Discord to ask his wonderful community for some thoughts and some stories, and we did get a couple. Do you want to jump in and read the one that I have in the show notes, because I think this one's amazing?
Yeah, this one's so cool, and this is an anonymous submission. So I'm not going to give the person's name or anything, but it's a really powerful story, and just kind of makes you, it shows, I think it shows content creation in a slightly different light, because you realize that there's just so many different angles to look at it, and then how BlizzCon makes you feel ultimately. So I'll read it for you guys. So sit tight. Story time with Coffee.
Story time.
Working at Blizzard used to be my dream for the longest time. So when I had the opportunity to work on the Warcraft movie, it was the second best thing that could ever happen. Everything excited me about the project. I would talk endlessly to production about Warcraft lore. I read all the books surrounding the plot of the movie and bragged about my raiding prowess and being a proud member of the Horde. As excited as I was to be working on it, nothing prepares you for what it's like to be in a room with thousands of other fans who feel the same way about it as you do. At BlizzCon 2015, they premiered the Warcraft movie trailer, and even though I had seen it dozens of times already, it was nothing like this. It's extremely humbling to hear audible gasps around you, even seeing grown adults shed some tears for something we were a part of. It was like that world we all lived in together for the last 10 years was materializing into something more real. I immediately got back in line to watch it again and again and again, and with different groups of people throughout the entire weekend.
I remember seeing that. That was one of the best moments ever.
Oh,
it really, really was.
I was one of those adults. I was one of those adults shedding tears. That was me.
Yeah. Did you attend the BlizzCon where they recorded the crowd sounds in the big hall?
Yes. Yeah.
Where they yelled for the Alliance and for the Horde?
I'm pretty sure, because wasn't it Ben Brode that was on stage doing that?
I don't know if it was Ben Brode. No, because it was the production crew, and they had a big boom mic on the stage.
Okay, I thought it was Ben kind of directing everyone. Maybe I'm misremembering, but
maybe it was, and I don't remember. All I remember is being in that audience and yelling at the top of my lungs for the Alliance and for the Horde, and knowing that at the moment we watched that movie, I was in that crowd yelling.
Yeah. It's never felt more real, right?
I know.
Oh,
it was incredible. And that, for the Warcraft movie, I don't know how you went to see it. Did you just go on your own? Did you go with friends? How did you go see the Warcraft movie?
I went with friends. I went with 2 people that I played the game with for many, many years, and my wife. So
Okay.
yeah.
You went with friends.
Yeah.
Great.
So
Okay.
so we had we had the perspective of someone that didn't necessarily like play Warcraft a lot, and then we had people that were like die-hard Warcraft fans.
Yeah.
So we had
Yeah.
both extremes, and it was still just freaking awesome.
It was. I actually ran a meetup here in Minneapolis. I wasn't living here yet, but we had we actually rented out a theater and got a full weekend of people here and filled up a theater of Warcraft fans. And the theater was a piece of shit. I will tell you this. It was horrible. It was like, the seats were all sunken in, old carpet, blah, blah, blah. And we didn't care. We were just like, we were with our friends sitting together, having a moment where we just had this beautiful, like, friends seeing Warcraft together. It was such a cool thing. And I could not have been happier to have done that. So the movie wasn't the best in the world, but we didn't care.
Yeah.
It's just like, yes.
Well, that's one of the things, like, I feel like it's important for content creators is that every story that's being told
I am here, feel go one all might.
Is a story. So
Yeah.
it's I didn't really understand what was going on in the Warcraft movie until the end, I guess, until I saw Thrall. But then that didn't really matter to me because I was just kind of there to like feel that energy and like feel that story and be a part of that world. And that's just the power of storytelling, is bringing you into a world. So
Did that sound replay again?
oh yeah. Well, no.
I see the chat room laughing and I can't hear it. So.
Oh yeah.
I love you, chat room. You're the best.
Warcraft 1 spoiler, says Vanilla.
Did you have any other stories that you were keeping on the sly that I didn't see?
Oh yeah, I had one as well that we got this morning. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
This person says, I've never gotten the chance to attend BlizzCon, but I do go and look up all the amazing cosplayers every year. I can say it's pretty much the only way I've been able to participate, but by living vicariously. But I love seeing people put together amazing costumes and bring those characters to life.
Yeah.
That is so cool. That's got to be one of the best parts of a BlizzCon, is that incredible cosplay. It's amazing.
It blows my mind how people, like, I don't know what it is. I should understand this. I'm a creator. I make stuff. I cannot wrap my head around how someone can be that talented and create those amazing costumes. My brain doesn't work that way. I don't know if you are like the guy who can do that or not, but
no,
I cannot.
That's not me at all. I'm just lucky to be in the Goldshire Inn right now. I'm just lucky to be here. That's
for
it.
real.
Yeah.
For real. And it is it's pretty incredible. I love the cosplayers. I will kind of be the person who stands there with their mouth open going,
yeah,
so cool.
Same.
That's what I do all the time with the cosplayers.
Last year we came off the stairs from the merchandise area. You know how the store's kind of underneath?
Yeah.
We came up the escalator and the Hogger cosplay was coming out from behind the curtain, and I jumped back because it scared the crap out of me. It was so good. It just scared the crap out of me. Oh my gosh.
And I actually know the cosplayer. She was in my former guild. And so after the costume contest last year, I used to run the Convert to Raid party, the CTR party. And so it always ran around the time when they did the cosplay contest. So after she won the contest, Kaz came to our party and got up on stage, and I was working. I was so busy, I didn't even know she was there. And then I saw this crowd of people go to the stage, and I'm like, what is going? Oh, Kaz is here! And it was awesome. That costume is incredible.
How did she make that?
She took 7 months to make that. She's actually working on one right now. Wow. That is one of the Khazra, the Goatman from Diablo. and her husband is wearing it this year.
Oh,
so it is,
wow.
and she's been. So if you follow, she's Casplay, or Cas.
Give her a shout out.
Yeah, I gotta look up her. I'm now trying to remember. I'm doing this on the fly.
Yeah, you guys go check out that Hogger cosplay.
Kazul G Fox, KAZULGFOX. You follow her on Twitter. She's doing frequent updates about her costume, and you can check her out. She's the one that won the Hogger costume contest last year.
Nuts.
So, absolutely. So, and she is amazing.
There was also a Deckard Cain last year that was just blows my mind. I mean, I've seen him before too, but that cosplay is just nuts. There's a Valera. I mean, I could go on about the cosplay. It really just, it's like you think you've seen like cool stuff on Instagram and stuff, and then you go to BlizzCon and you see this cosplay in your face, and it just changes your outlook on the amount of work that goes into this sort of thing. It's mind-blowing.
I mean, they start probably 7-8 months prior to BlizzCon to create these things, and sometimes more. And it's that, to me, number one, I don't have the patience. I can't do it. Yeah. Number two, I don't have the spatial understanding to create something that actually, like, you know, moves like they do, and I just can't do it. I don't know how. So I'm in awe. And I will sit there and go the entire time. So yeah, that's my life, and cosplay is awesome, amazing, and I'll never do it. I mean, never say never, but I've never done it so far.
Yeah,
let's put it that way.
I would wear cosplay, but I don't even know how to begin to, you know, start that process of making it. I mean,
someone else to make it for you.
Did you guys hear that?
I don't know.
I didn't
hear anything. Didn't do anything. Wasn't me. Did you have any other? I think that was all of them, unless there was another one you had tucked away.
Let's see. I think that was it. Oh.
Well, the goal for this next time, whenever we are going to record next, which will be after BlizzCon, because we got TwitchCon, we got BlizzCon, we're going to be busy people. We're going to come back to the drawing board, and we're going to say, hey, we're going to take what we liked about this episode, what we maybe didn't like as much, and we're going to shake it all up, and we're going to make it into a full-fledged non-alert content. Or maybe the alerts stay in, and we're going to amuse you all. I have no idea. We're going to talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll see. The only other thing I did have here, though, is cool. It's I think it's something to bring up. Is like one of the things that's so exciting about BlizzCon. This person hits on here. They say the most exciting stuff to me is the rumored things, new heroes, new Overwatch hero. I also like the build your own panel to talk about whatever people vote on. So it's the stuff, the mystery behind BlizzCon is also one of the things. There's like a buzz in the room, you know, leading up to the event, and no one really knows what's going to be announced or what's going to be said, and you feel that energy. You really do. You can almost hear the energy, the whispers and stuff around the room. You got to be there to feel that. You really do. It's you can't really describe it, but it's pretty crazy. And then of course, if you're like in the main stage room when they announce something, that crowd is nuts. That crowd is nuts.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The Overwatch announcement in 2014. Damn, dude. That was incredible.
That was crazy.
That was one of those moments where you're just like, I'm so glad I was here.
Yeah. I felt that way for the vanilla announcement.
Oh, the classic one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the room.
So you're stoked about this.
Yeah.
You're stoked about vanilla.
Yeah, I plan to hear some more about vanilla this year. I'm hoping to hear some more about vanilla.
Awesome. So. That is so cool. So I think that's going to do it for us for this pilot episode of the Jules and Coffee Hour. We've definitely gone longer than an hour, and that's okay. Because you know what? We're figuring it all out, and maybe it'll be the Jules and Coffee 90 minutes. We need to change the name of something and go from there. Hey. So what we will do from here on out is keep you informed of when we are about to do more. I hope you've enjoyed everything we've done so far. We'd love to hear your feedback, and you can jump into Coffee's Discord And I think there's a link in the chat room. We can do that.
Yeah.
And in the future, we will most likely be streaming this show on the Heroes Hearth Entertainment Twitch and going from there and submitting things from there. So that is a podcast. That is our show. We hope you've enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
We definitely need outro music, which we don't have. So
Outro ASMR.
yes. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you all for being here. Good night.
I can't wait till we get you a condenser mic or a dynamic mic. Sorry, we're gonna get you a real.
We got to do it.
Yeah, we're gonna get you a super duper podcaster mic.
Yeah. So do you want to talk
Fluffy,
about it?
Thank you.
Great job, both of you. Love this podcast. We love you. You're so sweet, Fluffy. I love you, dude.
Thank you. I'll
You're
play
amazing.
the. I'll just throw the song in here, and I'll play it underneath us real soft.
Okay. Yeah, we should also definitely when we do the thing, we should just tell everyone where they can find us, because
yeah, I forgot to do that. That was dumb.
because
why
they
is
can
my
see
okay?
it. These guys can see it, but
Yeah.
we should tell everyone.
So if we record this during this time of day and it's sunny, we had this little.
I saw it.
I could. You saw when the sun went away.
Yep, that's the issue about the natural light.
Yep. So I will have to work on that.
So
So I think I can.
We could just record a different time of the day too.
It's all right. I mean, it doesn't matter. I can. I've got a screen that I can put over that window too, but I gotta figure out how to black it out a little bit more. Because I saw you like it was shining on my head right up
Did
here.
you see me mess with it?
Yes, I did.
I was trying to mess with it in real time. I was like, let me just kind of tone down
like
this
you're the
chroma
best, man.
key. Let me just tone this chroma key down just a touch.
I love you so much for that because I'm like, oh, look at my shiny forehead. Yay.
No. Coffee's got your back. Always.
Coffee's the best. I've got a light. I've got a ring light right here, but the problem is that my room is I have this room where my office and my living room are right next to each other, and the living room I've got tons of light that comes in the afternoon. So I have to block out that light and then replace it with the artificial light. But when we tested it in the morning, the last time, this wasn't an issue. So, hi Daisy Cat.
Did you guys hear this cat the whole time?
Yep.
You did hear the cat the whole time?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do about this cat, man?
You gotta get a microphone that doesn't pick it up.
Okay. Are you
Because
gonna?
what you guys did not know is that during the before when Coffee started talking about his part, his story, my cat got out of his bed and hocked up a hair pole behind me. I'm not kidding. You guys didn't hear it.
Wow. Okay, so we're gonna talk at BlizzCon, right? And you're gonna help me get the appropriate mic.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I'll tell
I will,
Barb
for
to
sure.
get on it right away.
We will get Barb on it because Barb, you're fired.
Barb, you get in touch with Jules Scott's people. You get the right mic, okay? Don't waste my time. All right. So this cat, I mean, just was literally just talking the entire time we were doing this. Like she just really wanted to be held.
She was chirping and we could hear her just a little bit. The one thing about what your microphone does is as soon as you cue in, we can hear whatever fan of your computer is running
Okay.
in there. It's not a big deal, but that's something I would will clean up for a podcast because then it won't sound like we're not you right now. We want to hear it so we sound like we're both in the same room.
Yeah.
So look at her. You
Now
could have
she's
picked her up and held her during the show.
Really?
Yeah, why not?
Now
She doesn't make any noise when you hold her.
No, when you hold her, she's fine.
Just pick her up and hold her during a podcast, man. I'd do it. Sometimes my cat crawls on me and is like, "Hi, Mom." Look at her.
She's purring.
Yeah. So I saw a comment that we should have changed our title, which I think you did, right?
No, I told the mods to do it. I'm not
Okay.
sure if Fluffy or Midnight did it,
Okay.
but I didn't want to do it myself during the thing because if I touch Discord, I think it will mess up. So I didn't want to do that.
Then you wind up.
I didn't want to alt-tab out of Discord.
No problem. So, feedback, thoughts?
Yeah, what did you guys like about that? Did anything really work? Did anything... Was that something you'd possibly be interested in listening to in the future? Did you want to see more of that?
It's so bright in there, that's why.
Midnight, you loved it.
You loved it? Oh, good. Oh.
Didn't sign up for that.
I do that. I'm so sorry for the brightness. I'll have to fix that because it's now really coming in here.
I definitely cried.
I know it's such a touching story, and I can't ever get past it without crying. It just happens.
It was. I'm adjusting your chroma key a little bit.
Okay. Every podcast is going to have a different topic.
Nope,
well, I'm fading away.
Bye, Jules.
Bye. I'm being invisible eye.
Yeah, now I just can't get it, I don't think.
Every podcast is going to have a different I'm a ghost. Goodbye. I love you all. Please remember me at BlizzCon.
That's hard to do.
A segment where we answer questions. That's a good one. No, it's fine, Square Fan. I mean, streams are background noise a lot of times too. So, I'm Spooky Ghost. So what we can do
for
as
some
well.
reason, even though I could barely hear it, the emotion transitioned. Wow, that's interesting.
Oh, that's powerful. I missed that part.
It's powerful.
Yeah, that's really good because, yeah, I mean, the best part about what we do in creating content is that we can change it up based off of what is out there. And you guys get into this, you get excited about it, we will be adapting and adjusting based off of what you're giving us, because a lot of this is gonna, like, we could just sit down and talk about stories and blah blah blah.
We could talk about anything. Like you and I could sit down and we could talk for hours about just whatever, I feel like.
Yeah. And we can just do that, but we are also both very passionate about bringing in your stories as a community as well. And so it's not just going to be about us. I mean, that's the whole thing about Coffee changing his name of the channel. It's not Coffee TV, it's Coffee Club TV, because it's about the community and and that's always been my MO as well. So,
yep, 100%.
Yeah. And during the show, it looks like Google decided to log me out of everything. So thank God I didn't lose my notes. There we go. And I saw you earlier, Square Fan, asking me if I was a Vikes fan, and I am not a Vikings fan. I am a Packers fan because I lived in Wisconsin for 17 years, and I had season tickets to the Packers for a while. So it's Packers all the way.
Gotcha.
Sorry. Yeah, I gotta fix that. Hold on. Let me adjust my video a little bit for you guys. Where's the light? Ugh. Ooh, that's bright. That's my chroma key.
What's up, Ruari? How are you?
Meow.
Meow.
Whoa, hello.
Hello, Jules.
Ah, why are you signing me out again? Don't sign me out. Let's see if I can give myself some more light. Hang on a second. I can hear her chirping.
Oh, yeah. Daisy.
Oh, I made myself super saturated. I'll fix that. Hi, kitty. My kitty just woke up because I moved. Listen to her chirp.
Okay.
So Fluffy, 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 fluffy. I have been trying to get the one and only Workhorse to do an interview on Heroes News for a while now. Let's just say that he doesn't want to do it. So yeah, that's we're gonna get him. We're gonna convince him.
Workhorse is what I like to call a Renaissance man.
He does not like to be in the forefront of anything.
He likes
to
have his hand in everything, and he, you know.
Oh, my kitty's here.
He's at the. He's the CEO. He's
yeah. He's
working in the shadows and you know.
Come here. Come here. Want to say hi?
In charge of. He's like Emperor Palpatine, you know.
This is my kitty. This is Garrus.
Just interview his hand then? Oh, because he has his hand in everything? Look at this kitty. What's this kitty's name?
This is Garrus. He is Garrus from Mass Effect.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. So he came straight out of the video game and you found him?
He was calibrating. He was calibrating and found him. And okay. Are you hungry? Is that what we're doing?
Another BioWare title.
Oh, I know what's wrong. My camera is doing the adjustment thing because I didn't turn that off. That is why it is doing that. I have to fix that.
Oh, like an autofocus or something?
It's doing an auto white balance, stuff like that.
Got it.
So, yeah.
We'll get that. We'll get the kinks out. So yeah, so all the alerts. So even though this scene doesn't have the alerts because of how like integrated my OBS is with like everything, it's grabbing sources from other scenes. So that's why we're hearing alerts and stuff in here. So even if somebody had followed on if someone had followed on like the HeroesHearth channel,
oh no,
we would have heard work or something like we would have heard that over here.
Oh no.
That's how
now they're all gonna go do it.
So we'll fix all that.
We'll fix that. That's not a problem. Oh, Logitech.
Yeah, I really liked that. I liked just kind of being a little bit more like down to earth and chatting about things we were feeling and therapeutic. It feels good to do that, especially with you guys, because I see you guys every day, so it just feels natural to kind of share things with you. So.
Oh, there it is. No white balance.
You remember when that was happening to Yuna? Yeah. I think Yuna has a lot of the similar setup as me, so like all the notifications and stuff are just integrated. So I know Amoran is lurking now, but I wanted to talk to Amoran and see what she thought, because she was here at the beginning.
Hi, baby. Hi, baby.
Work.
At least he waited until I was done.
Let's just play this music.
Happens. This is what happens when... Yeah. Oh, hello. Come here.
Is he a good boy?
Oh, he's such a good boy. He's very now. I knew this would probably happen because he slept all afternoon. So so now it's like, I have left you alone all day, woman. I am going to bug the shit out of you now.
You're gonna pay.
And now you will be subject to my love and affection.
You're gonna pay the iron price, the love and affection.
All right, so that's a podcast that we created and made. So
we have this song now. Let me play
that wonderful song.
Yeah, I just want to play it like underneath. I like it. This song is amazing. I don't know how you found it.
I just did a search for I did a search for royalty free or DRM free music and a tavern, and I got a bunch of sites, and then this one came up, and I was like, I like that one. I'm sending it to him.
It's incredible.
Yeah, that came came out pretty awesome.
Yeah, and more than that, it was just really fun. So we'll look at this together and just kind of refine the things that worked really well and try to shine a bigger light on those things. And hopefully you guys will hit us up in the Discord, message us on Twitter. Remember, it's Coffee Club _TV now on Twitter, and this is right here. This is Jules RPG. Let us know what worked. Let us know what didn't work. I think Jules and I were talking about this recently, but it's very meaningful for us to hear negative feedback too, because if we don't hear that, we never grow. So just people going back and forth and telling each other how awesome they are doesn't make good art. So I hope you guys will let us know what didn't work, and we definitely want to do something bigger with this. So any feedback, any ideas, anything helps. So let us know.
Yeah, we plan on taking this over to the HeroesHearth entertainment world, so you're gonna help us get there. Well, let's shape it up. Are you streaming content after this, or are you done?
I think I'm done. I think I'm gonna.
All right.
Yeah, take it easy for the rest. I'll probably jump around to different streams and kind of chill in some other channels, but I think that's it for me.
All right. Well, I guess then we'll say goodbye to you guys for now. But we'll be back. And if you see us at BlizzCon, please say hello. Let us know what you thought of the show. And if you have ideas that you just want to tell us one-on-one, do that too.
Absolutely. All right, you guys are incredible. We love you. I'll be online in a little bit if you guys want to play some games offline. But until then, I will see you next time. Love you all.
Yeah, I'm still here. I wasn't sure if you were just playing music or not because I saw the. Who's on? Who is on? Yeah. Send it to Yuna. Send it to Crowan.